1985. The first Siemens phone. The first Siemens mobile phone was the Siemens Mobile Telephone C1, which came in the form of a suitcase. Yes, you read that right. People had a cell phone that was actually a suitcase. After that, some more compact phones followed. 1987. The first Nokia phone. In 1987, Nokia launched its first mobile phone, the Mobira Cityman 900. The phone weighed only 800 g, 28 ounces, including the battery, and was considered expensive and exclusive to those of a higher status. In 1988, Samsung's initial phone. Samsung created its first hand phone, the SH-100, a year later, in 1988. Officially, it was the first mobile phone created and produced in Korea. 1989. The original flip phone. Motorola once again innovated by introducing the flip, designed to the market after producing numerous brick-style cell phones that were similar. Prior to Motorola's micro TAC model, the majority of cell phones were large and typically mounted in cars because of their bulk. 1992. The original GSM, 2G, telephone. Phone bodies and antennas got thinner as the 1990s rolled around. The Nokia 1011, the first mass-produced GSM, 2G phone, was the next significant innovation in 1992. 1994. The first touchscreen phone and smartphone. Contrary to what many people think, the first smartphone was released much earlier. IBM's Simon, which debuted in 1994, is regarded as the first smartphone in history since it was the first gadget with a touchscreen and apps. 1996. The first clamshell phone and the first phone to use vibration was the Motorola DynaTAC. QWERTY keyboard was first used on a phone. The Nokia Communicator 9000, which debuted in 1996, was the first cell phone with QWERTY. In addition to a keyboard, the Communicator 9000 brought a number of business-related functions, including word processing, spreadsheets, fax machines, web browsing, and email. 1997. The first phone without an external antenna. The Hagenut Global Handy was the first phone to come out without an external antenna that could be seen. 1998. First phone with a color screen. Siemens introduced the revolutionary Siemens S10, the first cell phone with a color screen, in 1998. 3G network launch. The introduction of the third-generation mobile network was another significant occasion that year. It's important to note that the first downloadable content for cell phones was custom ringtones, which were also released in that year. 1999. The first GSM tri-band phone. By introducing the Motorola Timeport, the first phone that could function anywhere in the world, Motorola once again made significant progress. The first mobile phone with a WAP browser. Not only did Motorola innovate this year, but Nokia also unveiled a gadget with a groundbreaking feature. The first mobile phone with a WAP browser that let users browse the internet was the Nokia 7110. The first MP3 player and phone. Samsung released the groundbreaking Samsung SPH M100 Uproar phone in 1999, not wanting to let Motorola and Nokia take all the credit. It gave the user the ability to play music by combining the functions of an MP3 player and a cell phone. There was even a dedicated play/pause button in the middle of the phone. The first phone that is splash-proof. One of the more well-liked models at the time, the Nokia 5210 was the first cell phone to come with a splash-proof case. The first mobile phone with GPS. The Benefin Escape became the first phone with GPS capabilities when it was released that same year. The first phone with a camera. There is some debate over who was the first camera phone. Some people think it was the Sharp J SH04, but it was actually the Kyocera VP210 visual phone, another Japanese phone that had been released a year earlier. It had a front-facing camera and could only hold 20 pictures in its memory. See our post on the history of photography for more information on camera phones and the development of cameras in general. Other manufacturers started releasing their own camera phones in the ensuing years, with improvements in storage capacity and megapixel count. 2000. Phones had gotten even lighter and smaller by the year 2000. The Nokia 3310 was introduced in the year 2000. It became one of the most recognizable phones ever made, and is still one of the best-selling cell phones today. 2001. The first phone with radio, calendar, and infrared capabilities. The Nokia 8310 was the first phone with all of these features, and it was not inexpensive. The cell phone cost $500 when it was first released in 2001. The first Bluetooth-enabled cell phone. The Ericsson T39 was the first cell phone to use Bluetooth, and other manufacturers began to follow suit. 2002, the Sanyo SCP-5300, a phone that allowed pictures to be viewed on the screen instead of requiring a computer connection, was the next innovation in 2002. This innovative phone also had a flash-equipped camera and 2 color screens. And once more, as Nokia and Motorola dominated global markets, phones continued to get smaller and more powerful. Nokia's 7610, their first smartphone with a 1-megapixel camera, further upped the ante in the camera game. Additionally, they unveiled the Nokia 6630, the first real worldwide roaming phone. 2005, the first phone that is waterproof. In 2005, the first waterproof phone appeared. The Casio GZ1 was capable of withstanding submersion up to 1 meter deep. First iPhone. One of the biggest events in cell phone history took place in 2007. The first iPhone, known as iPhone 2G, was launched and blew everyone away due to the removal of most physical hardware buttons in favor of a touch-based interface. 2008 saw the release of the first Android phone. The HTC Dream, the first Android phone, was also released a year later. Despite criticism for its lack of features and third-party software, the Android operating system's launch was hailed as innovative because of its notification system and integration with Google services. 2009 launch of the 4G network in 2009. Since its initial commercial deployment in 2009 in Norway and Sweden, the long-term evolution, LTE, standard has spread to most regions of the world. The original Galaxy phone from Samsung. Samsung released the GT i7500, the company's first Galaxy phone, in the same year. Google Maps on the first phone. The Motorola Droid, which was also released that year, was the first phone to have Google Maps Navigator installed for free. The following years saw further innovation. Apple released the iPhone 4, which introduced the Retina display as well as FaceTime. Additionally, it was the first iPhone with a camera that faced forward. 2010, the first Samsung phone with no front navigation buttons, was released in 2010. The Samsung Galaxy S, the company's new flagship, was introduced in 2010. It had the fastest graphical processing and was the thinnest smartphone at the time, measuring 9.9 millimeters. The first smartphone with LTE 4G. The Samsung SCH-R900, the company's first 4G smartphone, was also released in the same year. In 2010, numerous other innovative features were introduced to the market. Samsung released the Samsung Note and 8-megapixel Galaxy 2. The Moto Defy was the first water-resistant Android smartphone, and the Nexus S was the first Android smartphone with NFC. Apple released the iPhone 4S with Siri, the first smartphone personal digital assistant, and Motorola released the Razr, the thinnest phone at the time measuring just 7.1 millimeters. Targeting the mobile gaming market, Sony Ericsson developed the Xperia Play, a phone that resembles a game console and is geared toward the gaming experience. 7.PNG Merry Christmas. Motorola released the Motorola Trix, the first phone with a fingerprint sensor, as part of their focus on enhancing security features. 2011, the initial Xiaomi smartphone, the Xiaomi Mi 1, the company's debut phone, was only offered in Asian markets in 2011. 2012. A year later, Samsung released the Galaxy S3, a phone with new features like eye tracking and their own personal voice assistant. The groundbreaking Nokia Lumia 920, which was powered by the now-forgotten Windows Phone OS, was released around the same period. This phone was the first to use optical image stabilization, OIS, wireless inductive charging, and a highly sensitive capacitive screen. 2013. In 2013, Sony released the Xperia Z, LG released the G2, and Apple released the iPhone 5S, their first phone with a fingerprint sensor. 2014. After the release of the OnePlus One in 2014, Korean behemoth Samsung and LG made some innovative moves. Samsung debuted the Galaxy S5, the first smartphone with a heart rate monitor, and LG debuted the G3, the first flagship with a QHD screen. 2015. The Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge, The first phone with curved display edges that enabled extra functionality was released a year later in 2015. Google introduced a number of Nexus phones, including the Nexus 5X and Nexus 6P. The Google Pixel, the company's first phone entirely designed by Google, would follow. It had the added benefit of unlimited cloud storage and was praised for having the best camera in its class. 2016. Motorola released the Moto Z, a phone with magnetic accessories that added extra features, and Sony released the Xperia XC, the first phone with an HDR display, in 2016. In the same year, Apple unveiled the iPhone 7 Plus, the first officially waterproof iPhone with a dual-lens system and no headphone jack. 2017. The first phone with 8 GB of RAM was the Asus Zenfone AR, which came out in 2017. LG then raised the bar for displays with the release of the LG G6 smartphone with Dolby Vision. The world was also taken aback by Nokia's reimagining of their iconic 3310, which featured contemporary features like Bluetooth and a camera but maintained the original's design language. Apple released the first wirelessly charging iPhone, the iPhone 8, Google released the Pixel 2, LG released the V30, and Samsung took the safe route and released the Galaxy Note 8. Perhaps more significant to Apple enthusiasts is the release of the more expensive iPhone X, a smartphone that substituted face unlocking, Face ID, for the fingerprint sensor, Touch ID. ZTE introduced the Axon M, a smartphone with 2 screens that was undoubtedly ahead of its time. At the time, it was revolutionary because it allowed users to use multiple apps at once. 2018 saw the release of the Huawei P20 Pro, the first smartphone with 3 cameras, a 40MP, a 20MP, and an 8MP lens. This year saw the release of several flagship devices, such as the Honor 10 and OnePlus 6, but the Vivo X20 Plus UD, the first smartphone to feature an in-screen fingerprint sensor, was arguably the most inventive. The Red Hydrogen one, which could produce holographic images and videos but ultimately failed, deserves special recognition. The Hubble phone, a mobile phone modeled after the Hubble Space Telescope, was introduced by Turing Space Industries in the same year. Among its many features, the phone has an integrated 15x optical zoom camera. The introduction of the 5G network in 2019. The first 5G phones and the 5th generation network were introduced in 2019. We discussed the strange controversies surrounding the next generation network on our blog. 2019 was also marked by launches of the Galaxy S10, Huawei P30 Pro, OnePlus 7 Pro, Samsung Galaxy Fold, and Huawei Mate X, but also the Xiaomi Mi Note 10, which was the first smartphone to feature a 108MP camera. 2019 was also marked by launches of the Galaxy S10, Huawei P30 Pro, OnePlus 7 Pro, Samsung Galaxy Fold, and Huawei Mate X, but also the Xiaomi Mi Note 10, which was the first smartphone to feature a 108MP camera. 2020. It's difficult to predict which phones will make the biggest impact this year because we're still in 2020, but we can say with certainty that 5G phones are taking over. Although they are still in their infancy, manufacturers appear to be committed to making folding display phones widely available. Even the phones that have been unveiled thus far, like the Samsung Galaxy Flip Z 5G, have proven to be quite impressive. Companies like Samsung, Motorola, and Huawei are preparing to release the second generation of folding phones. In contrast, OnePlus has adopted a slightly different approach and, in what has turned out to be a brilliant marketing move, launched their mid-range phone, the OnePlus Nord, in the first-ever augmented reality launch rather than developing a folding phone. Additionally, Apple is preparing to enter the augmented reality market. It appears that the tech behemoth will equip the iPhone 12 with a LiDAR sensor, which will enable precise depth measurement and significantly enhance AR app performance. Gaming phones are becoming more and more popular, along with folding phones and augmented reality features. The Asus ROG Phone 3 and the Lenovo Legion Dual are the two that appear to be the most notable in this category. Smartphone development, a leap from 2021 to 2025. The smartphone industry has witnessed significant advancements since 2021. Here are some of the key developments. Hardware innovations. Asterisk foldable phones. Foldable phones have become a reality, offering larger screens and more versatile form factors. Companies like Samsung and Google have led the charge in this area. Improved cameras. Camera technology has continued to improve with higher resolutions, advanced image processing, and innovative features like night mode, portrait mode, and zoom capabilities. Faster processors. Chipsets have become more powerful, enabling smoother performance, faster app launches, and better gaming experiences. Larger and better displays. Displays have gotten larger with higher refresh rates, better resolution, and improved brightness. Advanced battery technology. Battery technology has evolved to offer longer battery life and faster charging speeds. Software enhancements. AI integration. Artificial intelligence has become increasingly integrated into smartphones, powering features like intelligent assistants, advanced photography, and personalized experiences. Enhanced user interfaces. User interfaces have become more intuitive and visually appealing, with features like dark mode, adaptive themes, and gesture-based navigation. Improved privacy and security. Smartphone manufacturers have prioritized user privacy and security, implementing advanced security measures and data protection features. 5G connectivity. 5G networks have expanded, offering faster download and upload speeds, lower latency, and more reliable connections. Other notable trends? Sustainable design. Manufacturers are focusing on sustainable practices, using recycled materials and reducing electronic waste. Modular design. Some companies are exploring modular designs that allow users to customize their phones with different components. Augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR smartphones are becoming more capable of delivering immersive AR and VR experiences. In conclusion, the smartphone industry has continued to evolve rapidly, offering consumers more powerful, versatile, and innovative devices. As technology advances, we can expect even more exciting developments in the years to come. 6G, sixth-generation wireless, is expected to be commercially available around 2030. Development. 6G is still in development and is not yet fully functioning. Commercial deployment. Early commercial deployment is estimated to be around 2028 or 2029. China's goals. China aims to start commercializing 6G technology by 2030. They began 6G technological experiments in 2022 and launched the world's first 6G test satellite in February 2024. 6G is expected to be much faster than 5G, using higher frequency bands and cloud-based technology. Some experts speculate that 6G could reach speeds of 1 terabyte or 8,000 gigabits per second. 6G networks will have many potential applications, including threat detection, health monitoring, facial and feature recognition, decision-making in law enforcement and social credit systems, air quality measurements, gas and toxicity sensing. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe Touch for more videos like this. Thanks again.